Hey, hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer Hill, and I'm with the Huron Valley Chamber of Commerce, and this is our seminar series, and we're really excited to have a skin expert for women over 40. I would say just a skin expert for any age. I welcome Geen. She is a Mary Kay independent sales director, so she knows what she's talking about. She's been around for a long time. Take it away, Jane. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about.
Well, thank you, Jen. And I just really appreciate the opportunity. This actually kind of evolved from a conversation that we had in the chamber office a few weeks back. And I went back out to my car to grab something and came back in, and they were like, "We have an idea for you." So through that conversation, here I am. So I appreciate the opportunity to share with you today. And as Jen said, I'm an independent sales director and / beauty consultant with Mary Kay. I've been with them for many years and truly believe in the importance of taking good care of your skin. So today, like Jen said, I'm going to be talking to you a little about just a guide to good skincare leading into your 40s and even beyond. So let's just start with this question. Why is a skincare regimen important? Well, good skincare is important because, of course, it helps your skin stay in good condition, right? It's the only skin we have. So when you're shedding skin cells throughout the day, it's important to keep your skin glowing and in good condition. And of course, an effective routine that can help also prevent acne, maybe wrinkles, help just keep your skin looking its best. So again, I mention this only because a lot of people don't really know this, but what are the kind of basics of a good skincare routine? Well, cleansing, of course, moisturizing, and this is huge, applying a sunscreen, at least one that's a minimum of an SPF 30, and that's broad spectrum, which actually, if you don't know what that means, protects against UVA rays, which are the rays that age you, and UVB rays, which are the rays that burn you. So along with cleansing and moisturizing, and here's the key, every morning and night. And I also get, well, why an evening skincare routine, you know? Well, during the day, you know, when you think about all the free radicals and the garbage in the air that actually really attacks your skin, they build up dirt and oil and on the skin surface. So it's really important to, you know, cleanse, moisturize, you know, protect your skin, because at night is when your skin actually repairs itself. So it's actively growing new skincare cells and that remove that daytime damage. So that's kind of the basics of taking care of your skin. So, and of course, I will also mention that a lot of that, you know, when you look at, well, what should I use? A lot of that will depend on what your skin is. You know, some people have normal to dry skin. Some people have more combination skin. Some people have very oily or to acne prone skin. So it's important to find the right products that will accommodate your skin type. And I will also mention that another thing that can be a factor, of course, is as we kind of are shifting in seasons here, it's important to find, you know, you might have to kind of tweak things, you know, from spring to summer or from summer to fall to winter, depending on if your skin changes a little bit. And here's another few things that I'll mention before I dive into some of the products or ingredients I'm going to share with you today is that another thing that I think people don't really think about that can really affect your skin is naturally hormones. I mean, we all know that we go through different stages in our lives where hormones can certainly affect our skin. And so, and of course, it can be the foods we eat. It can be things as simple as laundry detergent. It can be environmental stressors, such as, you know, the environment you work in. Jen's talking about how cold or maybe even dry the air is, especially in the wintertime. And then you get into the heat of summer where the humidity, there's just lots of different factors. So because I've had people come to me and they're like, well, gosh, you know, this is happening. Well, you know, they're not necessarily thinking about you know, those things. So I always like to pose those questions. If there's anything that changed or whatever. So just think, you know, think in generalities about that. But today, I just wanted to kind of talk about what skincare might look like as you're heading into your 40s, or, you know, and really there's, most derms would tell you that it's really never too late to start taking care of your skin. The earlier, of course, you develop a skincare regimen, the better. Generally, prevention is more effective than correction. Which means incorporating certain habits and ingredients into your morning and nighttime routine in your 20s and 30s, so that by the time you are in your 40s and beyond, you're more likely to have tighter, brighter, healthier looking skin. It's important to use brightening and aging or anti-wrinkle products. And a lot of times people think, well, when they're in their 20s to 30s, I don't need that. But honestly, it's never too early to start using those types of products, because any deep set lines or sunspots show up because microscopic changes like excess pigment and loss of collagen start in our 20s. Did you know that? We start losing collagen like very early on. So it progresses quite slowly, so you don't usually see the effects of that until you're in your 30s and 40s. But by then, you know, it can be much harder to treat. So, but when developing a skincare routine in your 20s and 30s, you really have to adjust to what feels doable, right? And fun to you personally, because otherwise you won't stick with it and it won't work. And again, I always equate things like something as simple as brushing your teeth, right? That's a habit. We do it morning and night, usually. So it's just coming up with something that you find doable, easy, and then you'll do it. Because if your skincare routine is not enjoyable, continuity is difficult. So find something that, again, is enjoyable and doable for you. So today, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the most important skincare products, ingredients, and even habits to adopt kind of as you're heading into your 40s and beyond. So one of the first items that I'm going to talk about is getting acquainted with vitamin C. We all know that vitamin C is very good for us. It is, if you take it orally, right? It's also great in skincare. So it's an antioxidant, which is one of the most important ingredients to start using as early as our 20s and 30s and beyond, because it helps prevent dark spots before they happen. And once again, it supports collagen before you lose it. So it's a terrific skin brightener with firming benefits, and it boosts collagen and has antioxidant and even UV protection. So I'm just going to highlight an item that happens to be in Mary Kay's line that that actually incorporates vitamin C, but they also pair it with vitamin E. It's actually our replenishing serum C plus E, an excellent product, and it is a serum. So this is in particular, it's pure vitamin C. So, you know, again, coupled with vitamin E. And you might say, well, why all that? Vitamin E is also a highly potent antioxidant, so it's critical for protecting against premature skin aging, which is depleted, of course, as it fights damaging free radicals. Again, what I talked about a few minutes ago, all the garbage in the air. When paired with vitamin C, it actually receives a boost that actually reignites its age-fighting power. So they kind of really work in tandem together. And again, it's Mary Kay scientists actually leverage this dynamic cycle of replenishment to even do more for your skin. So you're getting really that boost of vitamin E when used in conjunction with vitamin C. I know that's kind of a mouthful, but again, stimulates natural collagen production, and love this product. So great product. So first of all, acquaint yourself with vitamin C. Secondly, an important step, and I find that, again, not any age is too early to start this, but especially as we get older, exfoliate 2 to 3 times a week. You know, obviously as maturing skin thickens, it becomes dull, drab, and lifeless, and pores can even become accentuated. Have you ever experienced that? Maybe I don't know, you just feel like your skin might look a little duller, because our cell renewal slows as we get older. So it's important to kind of move that along. And exfoliation, and not just on your facial skin, but also on your body as well. There's lots of body scrubs and that kind of thing. They all kind of promote that process. So, but that's why with those dead skin cells, they don't shed as fast as the older we get. So your skin starts to look dull and the texture might look a little rough. So excess pigment is actually stored in those dead skin cells. So your skin coloration or skin tone can look, maybe a little uneven or even discolored. So incorporating exfoliant, there's both chemical and physical exfoliants, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but they can help shut down that problem before it begins, and again, help maintain your youthful glow. So regular exfoliation also helps your other skincare products, like say vitamin C, for example, penetrate your skin even better. So that's really an important thing to remember, because it really does allow for that next product, whether it's a vitamin C serum or another type of serum, or even your moisturizer. Your skin's going to accept that and allow it to penetrate better when you're exfoliating. So I just want to highlight again one of our products in our line that is an exfoliating product, and it's our microdermabrasion. It's a two-step product that actually, again, first refine. It actually refines your skin. You've probably heard of microdermabrasion. Dermatologists do it in their offices. This is actually something you can use at home. But this actually is a physical exfoliator. So a physical exfoliator is more like a scrub. You would use this with your skin wet, but it actually helps reduce the appearance of fine lines. It improves your skin's texture. I always say it makes my skin feel like a baby's butt. It's just that soft and smooth. But we also have as a second step, which actually helps to further refine the pores, as we just talked about, and make them appear smaller. And of course, helps to calm the skin, and any appearance of like redness, is our pore minimizer. And I can honestly tell you, this is a product I use every single day. In addition, and well, I do the refined step probably a couple of times a week. But so that's just one of the physical exfoliants that we have in our line. But again, exfoliating 2 to 3 times a week, just really, really important. And finding, again, one that's appropriate for your skin type. The next item that I already mentioned here, but is making sunscreen the centerpiece of your routine. Sunscreen, very important. If you incorporate one anti-aging skincare product into your line, I would say sunscreen. And it's never too late to begin wearing it. Of course, even if you've been one of those sun lovers and spent a lot of time out in the sun, it's never too late to prevent further signs of damage. So obviously, consistency, again, key with applying sunscreen. You really do have to apply it at least every day. And I'm going to talk about a couple of products, but and ideally throughout the day. So again, we might not necessarily think about the fact, like even especially this time of the year in the winter time, like, well, why would I need a sunscreen? But it's really, really important. So I want you to kind of notice what I have on. So when I apply, and again, applying sunscreen even on your body, anywhere your hands, think about your hands and the exposure that your hands get on a daily basis. Seriously, if you've noticed age spots, I'm always rubbing anything that in any of my day cream that I use on my face that has an SPF of 30 in it, any excess, I'm always rubbing on the backs of my hands. So you always want to remember anywhere that's exposed. So we have a couple of our moisturizers, what we call a day cream, in a couple of different lines here, our Time-Wise 3D and our Time-Wise Repair lines. They're day creams that actually have an SPF 30 in them. great way to protect as well as hydrate your skin. But when I apply that, and this is truly what I'm not only applying it to my face, but I'm applying it to the back of my neck, my throat, or my neck, and my décolleté. Because again, as you can see here, and in most cases, this is always exposed to the elements, the sun. So, and you know, I have said this, if you notice women possibly that it might be obvious they've taken good care of their skin from here up, but then there's this. So it's really, really important to include this when you're doing this. So just remember, sunscreen is your friend, and you know, find a way, if you do nothing else, to incorporate that in your skincare routine, definitely. So then we talked a little bit about moisturizers, and of course, again, a great, I don't know about you, but in addition to my face, I use a hydrating, like emollient moisturizer all over my body as well every single day. And pretty much the minute I jump out of the shower, just really important to hydrate your skin because it does help to keep it supple. And one of the items that, or ingredients that can be found in some products that is actually a derivative of hyaluronic acid is sodium hyaluronate. It's a moisturizing ingredient, which derms actually recommend, and it recreates the lubrication of the hyaluronic acid that our skin produces naturally. So it's great for hydrating dry, aging skin and reducing wrinkles once again. And I will throw this in, although I'm not really talking about them specifically, but also eye cream, like eye cream. You know, the tissue around our eye area much thinner than the rest of our face. So it's where we usually start seeing the signs of aging. You know, just again, when you think about sun and that kind of thing early on. So, but again, one of our items that has hyaluronic acid or sodium hyaluronate in it is our skin revealing facial peel, which is really has glycolic acid in it. It's a product that I use once a week, but just another basic way to exfoliate. And it goes a little deeper into the cell or layers of the skin and into the tissue. So being a more of a chemical exfoliant. So anyway, that's just another great product, but always moisturize, 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 moisturize. And again, finding one that's right for your skin type, because again, if you're a little oilier, you might be looking for something that's oil-free or lighter weight. And yet, if you're dry on the drier side, like in the wintertime, I get drier. So I have to kind of hydrate or use extra hydration or something that's, again, formulated for drier skin. So finding that. The next thing that's really important, and I'm sure you've heard this, and I don't know if you any of you actually have a dermatologist in your life, but if you haven't done this, it's not too late to do it. And I would encourage you to do it every year. And that's getting checked head to toe. Looking younger, you know, of course, is cool and all, but making sure your skin is protected against skin cancer, of course, is way, way cooler, right? So that's why it's smart to actually get, you know, kind of a head to toe check once a year and getting in the habit of scheduling that. And, you know, if you haven't had that done, get a baseline because it helps your dermatologist to really make sure there's no, you know, just gives them a kind of a baseline and a reference point just to make sure there's no signs of precancerous skin changes and that kind of thing. And it's just, again, prevention, you know, much easier than correction. So it's much easier to kind of address it in its earlier stages than suffer the consequences. So I just like to throw that in there because that's a really important thing that we should all be doing, and not just women, men and women alike. So the next thing or product that I would like to talk to you about, and I'm personally very excited about this because Mary Kay actually just introduced their version of that. And it is incorporating retinol into your routine. Retinol, if you don't know, is a derivative of vitamin A. So just like vitamin C that we talked about earlier has a place in your morning routine, retinol should have a place at night. And derms agree that even as early as in your early 20s, actually probably the perfect time to start using this, but it's never too late to start using a high quality retinol at night because the vitamin A derivative actually works preventatively again to fight wrinkles, but it also helps to boost collagen production hugely. So I'm excited to share with you that Mary Kay actually introduced Clinical Solutions. It's Clinical Solutions Retinol 0.5. Ours is, again, is a two-step system. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but I'm here to tell you that pure retinol is like no joke. So when you're working with that, really you want to make sure that your skin will acclimate to that. So actually Mary Kay's scientists worked with dermatologists to incorporate what they call a retinization process. And it can extend it's designed to go for 8 weeks, where you're actually introducing this product at a very, maybe once a week for the first couple of weeks, and then you incorporate it slowly as your skin acclimates to it. But I can tell you, they really only introduced this like here in the last couple of months, but we as directors, we always get product early. So I'm always, trying it early on, but I have noticed a huge change in my skin, just in terms of its brightness. I've seen other small lines and areas that, and again, I faithfully use our skincare regimens and that kind of thing, but wow, game changer, just softening, and it's just wonderful. So my skin looks brighter. It feels different because again, it's helping to boost that collagen production. So this is actually it's 0.5% concentration. So the other product that we incorporate in that you saw is our calming facial. It's actually Calm and Restore Facial Milk, and it's actually a botanical based product that actually, when used, and they really encourage you to use it in conjunction with the retinol as you introduce it to your skin, because some of the things you would normally are going to experience when you start using retinol is your skin's going to get somewhat dry, can become somewhat flaky. It can might look a little irritated or red. And it will also, as I discovered and didn't really know, and I thought, oh my word, like it brought things to the surface, because it's really like pulling those things out. So, but that's all normal. So I just like people who are using it to understand that that's normal. But as your skin acclimates, you'll notice that, it will find its own kind of rhythm. And so the Calming and Restoring Facial Milk will help with those kind of things. It helps to soothe the skin. It's actually a combination of like coconut, jojoba seed, safflower, and olive oil. So it's rich fatty acids which help to nourish and soothe the skin. And then there's glycerin in it, as well as sugarcane squalane, which helps to prevent water loss. So it's just a great combination as you're acclimating your skin. But again, at any rate, retinol is your friend. It's your friend. So that's another thing I would suggest incorporating. And then, obviously that's kind of as you're heading into your 40s and beyond, but a guide to skincare even over 50, a lot of these same things really apply. But, as we get older and, you might find yourself as a minimalist or a maximalist. Your regimen is going to likely change over time as you tailor it to your needs. So, by the nature of time and gravity, the markers of aging, deep wrinkles, sunspots, all of that, crepiness, texture, loss of volume present themselves. So most conspicuously midlife onward, which is why many women look to overhaul their above neck routines, when it comes to 50. So again, the best way to reduce that is just, again, by incorporating some of these same things I talked about, but finding a cleanser that's gentle enough for your skin type and yet effective, to use on a daily basis. And then again, in terms of exfoliation, you know, again, both physical, like our microdermabrasion, for example, or a chemical peel like our skin revealing facial peel can also help with that, because again, the older we get, as I mentioned earlier, the slower that cell renewal becomes. And so it's just that much more important to keep that at bay. But you also do want to remember not to overdo it. So again, exfoliating 2 to 3 times a week is generally all the more I would recommend. And then if you're incorporating a couple things to backing up on retinol, while it's on my mind, is if you introduce retinol to your routine, a few things that you don't want to be using, I will just mention that until your skin really acclimates to that. You do not want to be using vitamin C as you introduce retinol to your routine, nor do you want to be using an exfoliant. Again, you know, that just kind of might further irritate your skin based on what I shared with you can happen as you introduce retinol. And then if you use any kind of a cleansing brush, like we have our own version of a cleansing brush here, but like a, you know, sonic brush, just kind of want to lay low on those. And the other, of course, they really, really stress if you are using retinol, definitely sunscreen, but I just wanted to mention that as well. And then speaking of that, give yourself a facial massage. That's another great thing to do. A daily facial massage does wonders for your skin at any age, but it's especially transformative for mature complexions. So it really helps to works to sculpt the facial muscles. So think like more defined cheekbones and your jawline. It reduces fluid buildup, which makes sense, right? It improves blood flow, cell turnover, tissue toning, and even boosts, once again, collagen production, because collagen really is the support net of our skin. So it's really what gives our skin that structural integrity of it. And as it declines, that's when we really start to notice like our skin's, you know, loosening, it starts to sag, wrinkles form. So that's why it's really important to, when I talk about collagen, to find it where we can, whether it's in products or through facial massage. And of course, if you're at an age where, you know, you're going through menopause, or maybe you've already experienced that, oftentimes in menopause too, women will see a dramatic reduction in collagen afterwards. So I can tell you that, and there's lots of tools out there that you can use in terms of a facial massage. You can find them places. As it turns out, Mary Kay actually has a Sonic Care cleansing brush, but we actually have an attachment that is a facial massager, and it's wonderful. You can literally use it like here, with your moisturizer, and you know, it's timed, so it runs for about 2 minutes, but it's a great tool, so just an option. But you can even do things that, like wrapping gauze around ice cubes and infuse them with like green or chamomile tea. So something as simple as that can certainly help with that kind of thing. So, and then restoring volume loss, again, with extra moisture. And I kind of addressed that. That's what I feel I need to do at this stage of the game. But starting in your 30s and 40s, as I talked about earlier, hyaluronic acid levels begin to decrease, which is again what makes fine lines and deep wrinkles more noticeable. So when applied topically, hyaluronic acid can help replenish and retain cell moisture. So it actually holds 1,000 times its weight in water. Can you believe that? So it's a common ingredient in serums and moisturizers, particularly in formulas targeting mature skin. So it delivers hyaluronic acid to the dermis, and its complex chains of different hyaluronic acids, that's so hard for me to say, stimulate production of your own hyaluronic acid. I mentioned that earlier, which is what allows your skin, you know, that resilience of your own skin. So that's another great product. And again, our pore minimizer that I mentioned earlier has hyaluronic acid in it as well. Again, just talking a little bit about hyperpigmentation and invisible photo damage. I mentioned that earlier. It's the rays that age us. Retinol, again, is another key thing to use, as we mentioned earlier. So all of those things kind of working in conjunction with one another. But then there's also masking. And we didn't really talk about that. We've talked about exfoliating through a physical exfoliator or a chemical exfoliator, but masking is also a great product for mature skin. So we happen to have our moisture renewing gel mask, which I personally love, but even what they call multi-masking is popular, whereby we also have a charcoal mask. If you're not familiar with charcoal mask, that's another great product. So I use a moisturizing mask usually a couple of times a week. And what I love about the one I use is that it is a clear gel. So I'll even go to bed with it on. And oh my gosh, it's just very hydrating, but it's just extra therapeutic, especially if your skin is extra dry or you just want your complexion to be smoother and tighter for a special occasion. It can tighten that up. We actually also have what's called a biocellulose mask. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those, but that definitely is something. It literally is a mask that you put on with there's coconut water in it, very healthy for your skin, but it helps to kind of plump up those peptides. So your skin does look smoother and firmer. It's a great product to use, like you say, for a special event or just using it regularly. So that's another thing, is just to mask, to optimize the benefits of that. And then the bottom line is, honestly, is really caring for your skin morning and night, because if nothing else, wash your face. I can't tell you how many times I've actually encountered women over the years who say, well, I'm too tired to wash my face. They don't take off their eye makeup, any of those kind of excuses. So I just encourage them, if you do nothing else, at least wash your face. And if you're someone that finds yourself, of course, especially now, but that comes home from work, most of us have our routines, right? We walk in the door, we, throw down our keys, we might start making dinner, and then we get involved. And because I've heard it all, trust me, when it comes to, shall we say, reasons or excuses why people don't wash their face. But they'll say, well, it wakes me up. I don't want to wake up before I go to bed. So what I encourage people to do is just make that part of your evening routine. When you walk in the door, do it, it's done, and your skin will thank you for it time and time again. Because again, this is the skin we live in. It's the only skin we have. So taking good care of it every single day is really important. And it's kind of like I said earlier, just like brushing your teeth, it's not enough to care for your skin only once a day. So establishing a routine, and whatever that routine looks like for you, because that's, again, what I got back to or mentioned earlier, is that when you find a routine that works for you, that you're comfortable with, that brings you joy, it's kind of like exercise. When you find it, you'll do it. And continuity and consistency is really the key to reaping the rewards. And so if you do nothing else, start here, and you can always work your way backward and determine, okay, what else do I need to incorporate and to find that regimen that might work best for me. So that's pretty much what I have today. Unless anyone has any questions I can answer for them or address, or concerns, or I'll do my best. So
I have some questions.
Okay.
I've been writing stuff down.
All right.
So when you talk about collagen, that's a topical collagen, but what do you think about drinking collagen? I just started that routine this month. I haven't really seen anything yet, but.
Well, I can tell you that I have personally taken collagen powder, and I've been a little inconsistent more recently. But yes, I can tell you that that it definitely can help you for sure from the inside out. And it's not just your skin. It can help your hair, your nails. It can help with inflammation.
Okay.
So it's good for your joints. So definitely would recommend that.
Okay.
Sure.
I have another question.
Sure.
What about those little razor rollers that you put on before you put like a serum on? What do you think of those? I have that too. I'm not real consistent with it, but it feels good.
I'll be honest with you. I am not familiar with it. I mean, I'm familiar with what you're referring to. I have personally never used that.
Okay.
So good question. But
does anyone else use those on the call?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that dermatologists use that, will use them or can use them in conjunction with there's a name for the process, and it's not coming to me right at the moment.
Microdermabrasion.
Well, there's microdermabrasion, but there's microblading, but I'm thinking that's what they call it, like having your eyebrows tattooed. There's another name for it, and it's not coming to me. But I actually looked into I'm always curious about those processes. Not that I would necessarily do them myself, but I'm always curious because I want to be in the know. And it was probably something that wouldn't have been beneficial for me given my skin type. But certainly, if it feels good and you're not sensitive to it and it's okay, then hey.
Okay.
For sure.
I have another question. Where is it? I wrote them all down. Oh, I know. I'm almost 60 years old. And what I notice is that I'm retaining more and more fluid in my skin, under my eyes. When I get up in the morning, it's always, and I'm sure, I have to watch my sodium intake, blah, blah, blah. Is there any way or anything that you can use to get rid of that stuff? Like because it's definitely noticeable.
Well, we have a couple of eye products that can help with that. Now, mind you, to actually get rid of the condition as a whole, I can't guarantee that, but we actually have an Indulge eye mask that helps with that puffiness around the eye area. It's really not an eye cream. It's designed to be used prior to that. And we also have our eye patches, which that again is the whole point, is helping to reduce that fluid or that tissue, their puffiness around the eye area. It also helps with that darkness around under the eye area. But yeah, and I think sometimes, there are skin conditions that honestly are inherent and can be, but finding what can work. Now, we also have, you're not really addressing dark circles, but we have tone correcting serum that can help with that kind of thing. But as far as puffiness and reducing that, I would even go to say going with the route of like a mask for the eye area, which again, our Indulge eye mask would be one of those things, or like the treatment that I mentioned in my notes here, with even just using like some tea and ice with tea bags, that kind of thing, just to help reduce that. But again, using it consistently. Now, our eye mask, for example, you can use every single day, and you can use it under an eye cream, you can use it by itself, but we kind of call it that instant puff reducer. So, can certainly help. Whether or not it would,
I don't know if it's just, I'm just more susceptible to sodium, which I try and watch now, and I drink a lot of water.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yes. And let's
anybody
face
else have any questions?
Drinking water too, as both, I know Linda and Jen both drinking their water on here, that too. Hydrating your skin from the inside out, definitely important. Drinking water, because as I was talking or alluding to earlier about some of the other things that can affect the condition of your skin, I did mention, of course, there are certain foods that can have adverse reactions on your skin, but obviously caffeine definitely can, caffeine, and of course smoking or being in the environment of that can certainly add to, the aging process for sure. And, but drinking water, definitely a priority. So
Does anybody else have questions? Because I don't want to take up, I do have another question after you guys.
sure. Well, your question might answer someone else's too.
Ask my question about sunscreen and why it's smelly.
Anybody else?
I,
Don?
did,
Lynn?
I didn't hear that. Something about sunscreen?
Yeah, my question. Hi, Jane.
Hi.
So my question is, I don't wear sunscreen on my face. I know I'm terrible. But because it's smelly, I don't like the smell.
But you can find,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You tell her.
And most, I'm referring to Mary Kay's lines, but certainly there's others out there that you can find in a day cream that's designed and formulated for your face. And they're incorporated. So, and finding one, and there is that too. A lot of people are sensitive to sunscreens, so sometimes, that can be a battle as well. But, but finding that and I'd be happy to talk to you about that if you're interested.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah. But yes, finding that and we unfortunately no longer, or at least right at the moment, no longer have a sun essentials line. We did have a sun care line, so we had a broad spectrum sunscreen for the body, but they've now, that went out, and I don't know if they're going to update and replace that with something, but there again, finding one that works for you, that doesn't irritate your skin, like you say, doesn't bother you from a fragrance standpoint. But yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, we'll have to talk.
Yeah. Linda, did you have anything?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Where I'm just,
though.
well, good. I'm curious if there were any takeaways for any of you, maybe things that you, or something that maybe you didn't realize or know, or just curious for feedback.
I liked what you were talking about, the retinol and how to ease into that. Because I've noticed when I have tried it, I do get very dry. So, just doing it once a week, I think in the beginning is good. Yeah.
And again, they kind of came up with this process in the case of our product, but I had somebody the other day who happens to be a team member of mine in another state who said, are we supposed to be, just goes to show you people don't read, but are we supposed to be using the calming, facial and restore milk? I'm like, yes. So time out, but because she said, my skin's really dry. And I'm like, well, yeah. And so, I just had to remind her kind of the process. Now, mind you, I do have a client who actually tried the product. She was first in line to try this. And she's big into, dermocosmetics, that kind of thing, which this borders on. And said she kind of right away was able to pretty much introduce it and use it probably 3 to 4 times a week. But that's probably not going to be the case for most people. So I just caution people on that, because pure retinol it's like I said, no joke. It's a great product, but, so I'm glad that you took that away, and hopefully that will help you over time to, acclimate and find. And then, because once I got through that 8-week retinization process, in my case anyway, I even went through, and I'm real honest here, I found the retinization process wasn't the issue. But as I got through that and then thought, okay, now what? How often am I going to incorporate this into my routine? Well, then that's when I started experiencing what I call a few bumps in the road. I'm like, what's going on here? And I actually just contacted our company. They have a medical relations, like kind of like a hotline you can call and talk with somebody. And, she had some suggestions for me. And honestly, I ended up finding that in my case, I had to introduce some extra hydration. Now, I don't think that's probably going to be for the long term, but right now I've just continued on that path, and it really helped kind of just balance things out. And I've been using it faithfully now, the retinol, like I say, 3 to 4 times a week with no issues, and finding that I'm just, continue to see the benefits of that. And, and here's the other thing. If you start using retinol, take a before and after picture, take a before picture. And then, maybe as you go, 3 weeks you don't have to take one every week, but I would say after, say, so many weeks, while you yourself, because we're our own worst critics, aren't we? As we look in the mirror and we think, oh my gosh, where'd that come from? But I think you'll be amazed to see the results in subtle ways, because I've noticed in my own case, like, wow, not even realizing it initially, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, like that's gone, or that's softened, yeah, so for sure.
I have another question.
Certainly.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on those creams that they're showing on TV, where they just like, they put it on and then they get rid of all the wrinkles? And I say this because my daughter is getting married, and I was thinking, well, should I maybe try that just for that? Yeah, and not that I would do that every day, because I think that's silly, but
Yeah.
And if I put that on, is it going to fall in the middle of the ceremony? And then
well, again, I'm not real familiar with the particular product that you're addressing, but
Dermaplex, I think that's what it's called.
Here's the thing, and actually this came up when I was speaking to the gal at medical relations in our company, and she said, I just want people to understand that even with retinol, it is not an overnight fix. Like, everything takes time. Let's face it, what we've acquired, or, let's just say those character lines or whatever they might be, didn't happen overnight. So they're not going to go away overnight. And it's not meant for us to look like we're 20 again. And I'm all about
You're no fun.
But I'm all about aging gracefully too, and so honestly, and not just, in all areas of our life, when you think coming at it from whether it's, eating healthier, exercising, taking good care of your skin, just aging gracefully. So I would say that, again, possibly like the biocellulose mask that I happen to be familiar with can do some of that. Kind of like, it's a great thing to kind of plump up your skin, say the night before you have a main event or something. But what those products, and I can't really address what they might do in the long haul, if they're meant to be something that is used daily. But I would say that just getting back to using a regimen that is right for your skin type, and that and using it consistently is your best bet. And because you will reap the benefits of that. And again, incorporating some of the things that I shared today will make a difference in the long haul, So yeah. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, kind of. I kind of knew the answer to that, but it looks so magical.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, when they introduced like long wearing lipsticks. I know this is kind of an aside from skincare, but long wearing lipsticks, people want to know, well, gosh, why are my lips so dry? Well, it's because most long wearing lipsticks have alcohol in them. That's why they wear as long as they do. So, there are things out there that, of course, you can say, well, okay, I want this, but then I might have to give up this in order to get this. So, you know, there is that. And trust me, I've over the years, I've, met with clients who, can't you just make me look whatever, and yes, I can, but you have to also be committed to the process and that kind of thing. And there's this too, there are people, I can think of a woman that lives down the street from me, and honestly, she's got to be 80-ish, 80 probably. Her skin, and she happens to use Mary Kay, and that's not a plug for Mary Kay. I just think she honestly has good genes. Like, there are people that just naturally have great skin and, that weathers well. And then there's others that, depending one on the choices that we make, obviously, I've never been one that's been able to go out in the sun without being head to toe in sunscreen, because I'm very fair and I wouldn't fare well with that. But, just the choices we make. So, a lot of it just has to do with that as well. And like I say, the environment that we live in, and then again, the other factor that can certainly play havoc with our skin is stress. Let's face it, stressors, not getting enough sleep, all of those kind of things play a big role in the toll that it can take on your skin. So,
does anybody have any other questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, it was nice to meet you,
Jane.
Linda. Thanks for joining us,
Absolutely.
Dawn. And thank you again, Jen, for the opportunity just to share with you today. And I
Well, Jane, this
appreciate
has
it.
been really informative, at least to me, and
Yeah.
hopefully all of
I
you.
agree.
And I appreciate your expertise and all the different things that we can put into our playbook.
Yeah,
our
exactly.
beauty
That's a great way
playbook.
of putting it. Yeah.
So thanks everybody for coming. I am going to, this is taped and it's going to be up on YouTube and on Facebook, and we'll share that. And thanks so much, Jane. We really appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you, Jen. I appreciate the opportunity. Have a great day, everyone.
You too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, bye-bye.